Hey, this is Josh from Upright Health here with Kristen once again, and today we're going to talk about some problems that we see in movement and positions that lead to running into certain types of pain and just dysfunctional movement, basically. And now we're going to show you some ways that you can correct this, and a lot of the times this will allow people to just gain a little bit more mobility in their joints without having to do any type of stretching or tissue work or anything. We're basically just aligning ourselves to move better how we should, okay? So the problem that we're talking about here is overextension in the lower back, okay? So we find that a lot of people get to this position where they have too much arch in the back, the rib cage is kind of flared up, and what that does is it kind of dumps the pelvis forward and you get anterior pelvic tilt. And now this is not a very good position to be in, and especially not to move in, okay? So I'm gonna have Kristen show you guys a squat when she's in this kind of faulty position here. So as you can see, as she squats down and she has too much arch here, she runs into some hip impingement right there. And now to get to the bottom of the squat, her pelvis is going to have to tuck under here. That's what you'll hear people talk about, butt wink. And this is not a good position to be in. And like I said, you're running into hip impingement. Cue the FAI fix, all right? So when we get Kristen in a good position without that big arch in her lower back, she's nice and tight in the stomach, she can squat down freely all the way down to her ankles pretty much, and she just gains a lot more hip mobility there, okay? Now let's talk about another movement here. And this is more of this hinge deadlift type movement, okay? So if Kristen starts in a bad position, overarched, rib cage out, when she comes down here, she's gonna run into the end range of motion in her hamstrings very, very quickly. And as you can see, she can't even get that kettlebell down to the ground here, right? That's because her hamstrings are the only thing supporting her, and they're telling her, no, not gonna go any farther. So if she gets herself in a good position, gets tension in the abs, now she can hinge down here and she can easily come all the way to the ground in a much better and safer position to be in. And this is going to allow her hip mechanics to work a lot better. She's going to use those big glute muscles on the back, right? So one point that we do want to make is that, and some people it's very obvious to see this, you're standing like this, right? Your chest is up. Think, what is it called? The Instagram
pose.
The Instagram pose, right? Like this with the butt out. But you know, for other people, it's way more slight, right? To the untrained eye, it's very hard to even tell that they're too overextended in the back, right? And this is what was happening to Kristen. She was having just slight problem with a little bit of overextension that was kind of throwing her hip mechanics off, and eventually it caused some knee pain, right?
Yeah.
Some knee pain. She wasn't able to move as well, and I think that you just didn't feel quite as strong, right?
Yeah, it was more just I didn't have that back, like super arch. I had it flat back, but my tension, my mental, connection with the tension in my ribs or my muscles were not tense. So I just corrected that, and it freed things up, and I could be more mobile.
Yes, and I think you even said that you're getting some abs now too, huh?
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah. So you will use your stomach muscles a lot more, and you should use your stomach muscles, rather than if you're not, then you're gonna put a lot of pressure on your back, and then
connection, yeah.
Yes, and that's not gonna feel good, and that can lead to lower back pain, and nobody wants that, right? Okay, guys, that's it for today. Remember that pain sucks.
Life shouldn't.